And I swear it did not take him more than 5 minutes to see what the problem was. And it had nothing to do with desire. It all had to do with the muscles in his eyes. So what he found out was James had a convergence insufficiency, which means that the muscles in the eyes, or one of the eyes, was too tight. So when he would go to focus on words on a page, the focus point would not meet up together. His eyes physically could not connect so that they were focusing at the same point at the same time.
Welcome to the 40-Day Empower Potential Challenge podcast with Andrea Haynes, where I interview people who are creating transformational momentum in their lives one day at a time through consistent and intentional effort. Welcome. This is a brand new podcast today. I have a wonderful special guest with me, Miss Brenna Hardy. I'm starting something a little bit new. Brenna's going to be a part of this new path that I'm taking with the 40-Day Challenge podcast. So I've been interviewing people who are doing the 40-day challenges, and that's one of the reasons why I'm interviewing Brenna Hardy, is because she did a 40-day challenge last fall. But another thing that I'm going to start doing is I'm interviewing people that are doing exploits. And where that comes from is the book of Daniel. It's actually Daniel 11:32, I think. I'm just going to make sure. Yes, that is Daniel 11:32. So Daniel 11:32, it is Daniel seeing the last days, and he sees the people in the last days, and he sees the people who are not with God and people who are with God. And so this verse, 11:32, it says, "And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall be corrupt by flattery." So those are people who are not basically with God. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. So this is the path with my 40-day challenge, or my podcast, that I want to start traveling on now, is interviewing people who are doing the 40-day challenges and doing exploits. And Brenna, I feel like you are doing an exploit. And an exploit is, I've looked up that word exactly in the Webster's 1838 dictionary, which is the dictionary that aligns with the Bible and that period of time in the language from the Bible. And exploits is doing things courageously, basically living your mission. It's following the promptings of God and living in a way like that. So that is my plan, is to interview people who are doing exploits. And I definitely feel like, Brenna, you are doing an exploit. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to get into what you did for the 40-day challenge and basically that journey. So just tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Okay, so I am Brenna Hardy. I'm the mother of 9 beautiful children. About 11 years ago, I started homeschooling them all, and that's been a wonderful experience. And I feel that that has actually helped me be able to have the space and the freedom to be able to find these other answers and helps for children who are struggling, who don't fit in the little box that our public school systems tend to like to put people in. I love teaching. I love helping children to find joy and confidence in what they are learning. And I have found that this whole experience with my son James, who has struggled with reading since he was 6, so since he started school, and he's now turning 13, it's just been beautiful, this whole journey with him.
Cool. Okay, so let's dive into that. So last fall, I invited you to a 40-day challenge, and you were like, yes, I'm going to do it. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on this reading. Would you call it a program?
Yeah, what James has been doing, he's been working through a reading. He's working with a coach that helps him correct his vision problems and help him to gain that confidence with reading.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a reading program.
A reading program. So when you did the 40-day challenge, I think you said that you were going to be learning this, studying this for the 40 days. And was it like, when you first started, you just wanted to learn it because you wanted to help James, and then that turned into, this is amazing, I want to help other people Is
Yeah.
that basically kind of what
That's
happened? Okay, well,
basically, yeah.
tell us about how, well, like where things were with James, and then you finding this out and doing the work, and like just tell us about your journey. That's what I want to hear
Okay.
today.
Okay, so for years my son James has struggled with reading. I thought maybe he just lacks the desire to do it. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's something wrong with his eyes. We had his eyes checked multiple times, and each time we come
Mm-hmm.
back, he has perfect vision. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what's going on? So my first approach was, okay, we need to spend more time reading. We just need to do it more and more and more until it gets into his head and he becomes a confident reader. But it was painful for him to sit there, and it was painful for me because I was getting frustrated with him. He was getting frustrated with me. And it wasn't a very positive learning experience for him. I have prayed to God so many times for help. I needed answers. I needed direction. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like what was going on was beyond what I knew, what I had the capability
Mm-hmm.
of. So then one day I had the impression to go on a Facebook message group with a bunch of homeschool moms, and so I messaged explaining this struggle that James has had for all these years. And there were
Mm-hmm.
a ton of different suggestions that people gave me. And I just very carefully selected ones that I felt applied to my son. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the suggestions was to contact a Dr. Eldon McMurray from Utah. And I thought,
Hmm.
okay, why not for a free assessment? Let's just give it a shot and let's see what he has to say. So I messaged him, and didn't hear back from him for a couple. Like I didn't hear from him, and it was 2 weeks later. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe this isn't the right answer. Maybe this is the wrong
Hmm.
path to go down. And then
Yeah.
one morning, Dr. McMurray just sent me a quick text. He's like, I have time this afternoon to do an assessment with your son, if you are interested. I'm like, oh, definitely, I am interested. And so we went and we had the assessment, and I swear it did not take him more than 5 minutes to see what the problem was. And it had nothing to do with desire. It all had to do with the muscles in his eyes.
Hmm.
So what he found out was James had a convergence insufficiency, which means that the muscles in the eyes, or one of the eyes, was too tight. So when he would go to focus on words on a page, the focus point would not meet up together. His eyes
Okay.
physically could not connect so that they were focusing at the same point at the same time. And
Yeah.
so what we needed to do, and what Coach Eldon or Dr. McMurray has had us do, is we've been doing eye exercises that help to stretch those muscles that are in the eye so that the gaze point is at the correct spot. And then once we have that, then we've been able to work with James to build up his reading comprehension, his sight words, and his confidence with reading. So
Wow.
it's been amazing.
That is really, really cool. Basically, so he had one muscle, one eye where the muscles were too tight, and one side where what did you say? One was too tight and one was
Well, it's just the muscles in his eyes were too tight. So when he would go to focus, the muscles were preventing the eye from focusing on the words. And so
that
the
is
words, the
amazing.
letters were all just a blur because
Yeah.
he could not distinguish one letter at a time.
Wow. Okay. So it was like basically the eye muscles needed a massage, some kind of an eye massage to relax those muscles so that they could do their job, but they were too tight. And so it was just like this trying to read, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what the
Yeah.
eyeballs are like. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like if you imagine eyeballs like this trying to read, it's like that seems like a terrible, horrific process.
And it's
Your muscles
exhausting.
are
And it's
right. Yeah.
exhausting too.
Right. So yeah, totally makes sense. If your eyeballs are like this is our visual, right? Like in front of, they're so tight and they're just like, how can you see out of that? How can you focus? Yeah, it would be exhausting. That makes so much sense. That's
Yeah.
incredible. So what were the exercises like that he would have to do?
There's a variety of there's different exercises. What he sent us, what Coach McMurray sent us, is a pointer stick. I didn't bring one down here.
Hmm.
So what he does is he focuses on the tip of this pointer, and then there's just various like figure eight exercises. There's some massaging
Mm-hmm.
exercises, and then there's
Hmm.
bead work where you follow beads that are moving, and so it just stretches. It stretches the muscles in the eyes.
That is so cool. So you're stretching the muscles, and then you're teaching the muscles also to be able to focus and be strengthened, not be so tight, but stretch and then focus and teach
Yeah.
your eye muscles and your eyes to do what they need to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That's amazing. And it sounds like, well, yeah, okay, that makes so much sense. But how many kids are there out there where this is the problem? And, there's so many other things that parents are doing and trying and it's not working and
Yes,
it's
there are like
frustrating and the kids are frustrated.
children who are diagnosed with
Yeah.
dyslexia. Sometimes it's not dyslexia; it's just a convergence issue that
Right.
can be corrected, and then the
Wow.
child can read.
Yes. That's amazing. That is so cool. Tell me about the process. Like, did it take very long for you to start kind of seeing results happen with James?
The immediate
Like, what would
results,
you say?
no. I would say so we started last June with him, and by the end of
Okay.
summer, his eyes were pretty well good, and like by Christmas for sure. And
Okay.
what it's been now, but what you have to do is you have to be consistent. Like we were doing these eye exercises 4 to 5 times a day, so you have
Okay.
to do them multiple times throughout the day. So
Hmm.
and we were doing reading drills, reading practices, all kinds of different reading exercises, as well as the eye exercises.
Hmm. So, do they probably get to the point where they don't have to do like they get stronger and stronger and they don't have to do 4 to 5 times a day like that you start to
Uh-huh.
decrease in that and it
Yeah,
just becomes less and less because you become getting stronger and stronger.
yeah.
That is really, really cool. So, tell me like some of the things. How has this affected him? And how is this and him struggling with the reading? Was there a struggle with in the home with like just anger and fighting and your relationships, kind of stuff like that? And then his self confidence. Like, tell me about things like that. Like, what shifting have you seen happen?
He was a very frustrated boy. He would get frustrated with all kind of schoolwork, any kind of schoolwork he had to do.
Hmm. That
And
makes so much sense
since,
though, because it was
yeah,
painful.
like
Yeah.
doing his math was hard because his eyes weren't converging. And
Mm-hmm.
family scripture study was frustrating. Like reading one little verse would take
Mm-hmm.
him literally like 10 to 15 minutes to read one little verse.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
painful for us and for him.
Yeah.
But
For everybody.
since he for everyone, we're like, oh my goodness, it's James's turn. Oh
Yeah.
no. um,
Yes.
but since then, like his confidence now in reading, like he can read a verse in the scriptures very, very confidently. He
Hmm.
went from being a primer level, which is where he was in June. He was just reading primer
Hmm.
level of this was his vocabulary and his sight words.
Hmm.
He went from primer to in earlier this spring, he was reading The Hobbit. So we've been reading The Hobbit together. Like that is huge to go from Dick
That's
and
amazing.
Jane to The Hobbit.
Yeah. How many reading levels is that? I don't know all the reading levels, but how many reading levels is that in what duration of time? So just repeat that. Like,
He went from basically maybe not even a one, his like a kindergarten level to like a
okay,
level 4 or 5 in the matter of 10 months.
that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Hmm. So seeing this change with James, when did you decide, oh, I need to learn how to do this? Because that's what you're doing now, right? Is like you've learned.
Yeah,
So are you now a reading coach, like this kind of a coach?
yeah. I am now a reading coach. I Coach McMurray, he's based out of the States. And when I started with James, he said, Brenna, we need you in Canada. We have no reading coaches that run this program in
Mm,
Canada. We need
mm-hmm.
you so that we can reach out to a wider variety of people and not have to deal with the exchange rate, which is absolutely ridiculous. So, coach, through
Right.
my sessions with James, he's been training me so that I can do what he does to help other children who are struggling.
Wow. That's so cool. Do you feel like this is kind of like a calling for you? Like you've learned this and you've seen the effects that it's had with James and his confidence and just kind of the transformation. And you're like, more people have to know about this. Like I have to share this with people and help other families.
Yes, I have felt that the Lord has used the struggle with James to help me to become what he needs me to become, to be able to do what he needs me to do, so I can help and bless the lives of so many other children who think they're just dumb,
Mm-hmm.
who think they can't do these
Mm-hmm.
things, whereas you know what? It has nothing to do with it. They have no control over it. It's just the muscles in their
Mm-hmm.
eyes. It's that simple. It's just the
Yeah.
muscles in their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And to have them gain the confidence that I have seen James gain, like it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. And then they have confidence for life,
Yeah.
and not just in reading, but in all areas of their life.
Right. Yes, because being able to read is like it's a window to a whole nother world of like being able to study and learn and grow in so many different areas. But if you can't read, that makes it really, really challenging. So it just opens up a whole
Yeah.
nother world to people and their abilities. I just think that's so beautiful, Brenna. Like so beautiful. And it really is, interesting to see God works that way in so many people's lives where he allows us to have a struggle and it might seem really frustrating and hard and something that we don't understand and but we we have to call out to him and we're praying to him and we're searching for answers and answers come. They might not come quickly, but they come, and sometimes it's years. But then this beautiful thing happens where that struggle, you find answers, and then that person finds freedom or healing or whatever. And then the beauty of that, like it expands your soul and you feel like other people have to have this, right? It's just so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And you just see it over and over in history and people now where like things are a struggle for somebody and they go through it and they become stronger for it, and then they inspire other people, or they develop some kind of a technology, or they invent something or create something or write a book about their experience, and it helps so many other people, and it's just this ripple effect, right? You throw in that stone and then the ripple just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I just think it's such a beautiful process. And for people out there that are going through a hard thing and they don't understand it and they're struggling or they're looking for answers, God is good. And he takes care of us. And when we call on him and ask him for help, it's a true principle. If you ask with real intent, like if you ask, you will receive, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And I've heard recently, and I'm like, yes, it's the well-educated heart. It's kind of like an educational philosophy using the arts and educating the heart. And Marlene Peterson, she says, if you want to learn something, you ask questions. When you ask questions, then you start searching and then you find answers. And you can go through your life that way and learn so many things. And I think also recording and journaling the things that you're learning. It's this very simple principle or concept of ask. Just ask, right?
Yeah.
Ask and then dig
Yeah.
in and try to find the answer, and then you will find the answer. It will come. And
Yeah.
that's what happened for you. You prayed, you're like, God, this is out of my scope. I need help with this. Please give me some guidance. And it came. And now you've
Okay.
seen James and this transformation with him. And now you're like, now I need to help other people with this. So this is it's so exciting. I just love it. It's
Yes.
inspiring. I think it's wonderful. So tell me about your, like, what are your future plans? How do you want to help other people? Are you going to have an office? Can you do this on, I guess you can do this online with people, right? You can see anybody anywhere in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, James's coach, the one who made this program, he's out of Utah, and so we
Mm-hmm.
have twice a week we meet
Great.
with him over Zoom. Coach McMurray, he has helped people internationally. Like he's helped people from in
Hmm.
China, Sweden, he's done overseas people, and it's just amazing what technology, how it helps you to reach
Mm-hmm.
so many people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So you could help people across the globe with this. They don't
uh-huh.
have to come to your location and, every 2 weeks and see you. You can see
No.
anybody in the world. That is so cool. I'm excited for you. What's a way that people could contact you about this if they're interested? What's the best way for them to get a hold of you? Because I know this is like brand new for you. You're just like starting this, but people who watch this and they're excited and they're like, oh my goodness, I have to tell my friend about this, or my kid's struggling with this, or whatever. How do they contact you?
They can just send me a quick text and then I can give them Dr. McMurray's number. He can do a free assessment
Okay.
and let them know what is needed. If they're in Canada, they'll probably be with me. And if they're not, then there's other coaches in the United
Okay.
States that he can refer them to as well.
Okay.
So my number is
Yeah.
403-795-1614.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm going to try to put that in the notes after. Your contact information, is there an email too that people could reach you?
Yes, it is Brenna Jean Hardy, like all lowercase, at gmail.com.
And how do you spell Jean? How do you spell Jean?
Jean.
Like jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, that's great. I'll try to get that in the notes as well too so that
Okay.
people can contact you. Well, this is so exciting. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me. And I'm excited for this journey that you've been able to experience and for the transformation that's happened with James, and just excited for the possibility of who this can help. It's wonderful. Thank you again for meeting with me today, Brenna, and telling us your story. And I hope that this reaches the people that it needs to, and that people are able to find help for their loved ones, and that struggle might be diminished and that they might be able to find freedom. I think that's actually one of the things I've been able to identify for myself as kind of one of my life missions, is to help liberate the captive. And I feel like people who this kind of a struggle is, they feel like they're in bondage. And so helping people to be able to have the freedom for their bodies to be able to actually, like, functionally be able to see and read. It's like you're helping the blind to see. Really,
Yeah.
right? It's like they were blind. Even though they can see, they can't see. They can't see the
Yeah.
words and they can't read. So it's literally like that. You're helping the blind to be able to see. It's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I'm
It
so
is
excited. It's so
beautiful.
wonderful.
I'm
So thank you
excited.
again,
I
Brenna.
really am.